I mentioned at the beginning of the hour there that the inaugural Artificial Intelligence Summit is currently taking place at the University of Johannesburg. That's in Auckland Park. Currently on the podium now is Communications Minister Mondli Gungubele. Let's listen in.
Emphasize the need to prioritize human values and ensure that AI benefits everyone, including 2.7 billion people worldwide who are still offline and are often left behind. She highlighted the importance of meaningful inclusion, stating, open quote, "Those who are left behind are at the very heart of the Sustainable Development Goals, and they need to be at the heart of how we design AI." Close quote. The role and potential of AI in assisting the world to get the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal back on track by 2030 is an imperative and a responsibility that every nation of the world is faced with. Indeed, the era of generative AI is just beginning, and as a country and continent, we cannot and must not allow ourselves to be left behind. The explosion of AI as a greater technology tool has placed a responsibility on all of us to ensure that we realize its maximum innovative potential and make its use safe and ethical for all. In the global arena, South Africa is seen as an exemplary country with bright prospects within the African continent and the global environment. During the 2024 World Economic Forum held in Davos, Switzerland, remarks were made that prospects of global security and peace has moved from Paris, New York, and Brussels to Pretoria. It is with this appreciation of how the world views us that we believe that South Africa needs to be at the center of advancing the cutting technology. In other words, if we are the reference for human rights, we need to be the reference for leading in this technology, because it finds expression in the state of human rights. Program Director, South Africa continues to tackle the social and economic challenges inherent from being such a diverse country. While the challenges may be many and daunting, they are definitely not insurmountable. Pulling the wisdom and expertise of our sector, particularly AI, we are up to the challenge. As a minister, I'm tasked by law through Electronic Communications Act and various universal access legislative prescripts to develop an approach that will ensure the fast adoption of emerging technologies that will set South Africa towards a brighter future. It is for this reason that this summit has been convened for government and the sector to initiate a policy regulatory framework to guide and leverage the advances in AI for human good. Recently, we have seen extraordinary advances in the capabilities of AI through chatbots, voice cloning, image generators, video apps, and much more. The economic benefit of the adoption of AI has been well documented. For example, in a study conducted by the Access Partnership, it is projected that South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya stand to benefit $136 billion on the adoption and use of AI. What do we say on the harnessing AI to revolutionize our socio-economic well-being? AI is built on the understanding that machines must complement humans. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, commonly referred to as OECD, study indicates that, open quote, people now live alongside digital technologies in the physical and virtual worlds. These include machines pre-programmed to follow a precise set of rules, or that are fully autonomous and can operate without human intervention. They include immersive environments that combine features of physical and virtual worlds to create realistic experiences such as precision farming and surgical training that would be difficult to reproduce in real-world setting. Behind these and other innovations in the early phases of implementations are complex mathematical models trained on large computers with vast amounts of data to emulate human-like cognitive function that is artificial intelligence, close quote. What becomes obvious is that public policy making and framework must adapt to address the governance imperative of AI and emerging technologies to protect globally agreed human rights. AI policies are key to building strong digital ecosystem in which governments, business and individuals can reap the benefits. As we carve out a response towards the adoption of artificial intelligence, policy and regulation position within South Africa, there are three main aspects that would have to be understood when we endeavor to harness AI. These are AI data governance and connectivity to support policymakers in this process. The importance of cooperating internationally to ensure that AI as an emerging technology is trustworthy. And three, common understanding of AI is built through sharing and good practices and creating evidence-based AI system to inform policy design, implementation, and evaluation. South African position on harnessing AI, Program Director, for us to remain a relevant trading partner that protects and advances its national interests, we need to be among the rest of the early starters in the production and adoption of digital technology solutions to human problems. There are areas that are traditionally the exclusive mandate for governments to conduct its business. Areas such as defense, safety and security, social security net support, and intelligence gathering, amongst others, come to my mind. These are areas where government must lead in the adoption of AI. There are, however, other areas where direct role of government is expected through policy formulation and regulatory approaches that will safeguard the preservation of livelihoods and creation of sustainable jobs. In this area, the adoption of AI must ensure the ethical and impactful purposive delivery. The question related to the theme, open quote, harnessing AI, close quote, especially from South African perspective, is whether as African continent we can even begin to determine AI regulations. I point this out, ladies and gentlemen, because we all know that there would not be effective regulation without the existence of a clear policy position. The danger of formulating regulations not guided by sound policy is like being asked to comply to a non-existent phenomenon. What African Union Ministers of Communication AI Declaration has to say. In 2019, AU ministers responsible for communication and ICTs adopted the Sharm el-Sheikh Declaration, wherein there was an agreement on establishing working group on AI for the following: the creation of common African stance on AI, the development of Africa-wide AI capacity building framework, and the establishment of an AI think tank. As South Africa, through our presidential report on the Fourth Industrial Revolution, we also identified AI as one of the key areas for Africa for our strategy and look forward to collaborating with all of you in our midst. On the United Nations AI approach, on the 26th October 2023, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres launched the high-level multi-stakeholder advisory body on artificial intelligence. In addressing the media on the occasion of this launch, he remarked that, open quote, in our challenging times, AI could power extraordinary progress for humanity. For developing economies, AI offers the possibility of leapfrogging outdated technologies and bringing service delivery directly to people where needs are bigger and for the people that need them most, close quote. All these, he concluded, could only be realized if we harness AI responsibly, making it accessible to all, thereby reducing global inequalities. The world appreciates the risk associated with the adoption of AI. These risks include misinformation, disinformation, and entrenching of bias and discrimination, surveillance and invasion of privacy, fraud and other violations of human rights. In order to prevent the malicious use of this technology, The UN has established entities wrestling with big questions about how to harness AI to help humanity positively. It offers us a glimpse of real progress towards achieving the SDGs. What is Africa's notable initiative on AI? I have noted that there are various AI initiatives on African continent. Some of the examples are the AI in Africa Machine Learning Indaba, conducted by South Africa, the Alliance of AI led by Africans in the diaspora, initiatives by major global companies on the continent, for example, Google, which has established an AI center in Ghana, the release of the Africa AI Blueprint by Smart Africa Alliance through the chairpersons of South Africa. Thank you. South African government's endeavor to establish the Artificial Intelligence Institute and Center of Artificial Intelligence Research. I thought this was cool. Noting this, I therefore impress upon cloud companies such as Microsoft, Google, Huawei, Nokia, and Amazon Web Services, amongst others, to continue establishing AI research centers in Africa. The biggest challenge, before I proceed on this point, is that I had very touchy and emotional discussions with Professor Marvet, young and amazing South African talent. We wanted to, he was actually enlightening me why so many people who are developed in this digital technology leave South Africa. And he says to me, they've got no work to do here. I find that the Deputy Minister to be indicted. How do we produce people who we don't know how we want to use? That's a huge challenge. As a result, they are taken all over the world by Europe, America, and everywhere else. Trump calls us that thing which he calls us, but he does not know what he is celebrating is at the expense of the technology that we export to him. He doesn't know because he's a blinkered right-winger. So we should avoid that. We can't produce. Professor Morola was saying about 2 months ago, he says, under me, he either said, I produced 39 doctorates or masters. He says, Mesa, where are they? This is the biggest question we must answer. Where I work, I won't tell you the department because it's a sensitive department. It's a sensitive department. It sent people in Korea, trained them in this technology, young people, well trained. When they came home, because we in government didn't have work for them, private sector took them. So this is a major question, a takeaway, Deputy Minister. My DG is not here. She is doing another job. I'm sure those who watched me on interview yesterday, it was post office. She is spending 24 hours out of her bed to find how can we reduce that 4,700 that is being retrenched. She couldn't come here. She had to cancel this meeting and replace with that. I don't want to see her because I know the stress she's going through. But if she was here, I was going to say the same thing to her. This is the huge question we must answer. When I was a mayor in Ekurhuleni, I led something called Erotopolis, airport economy. Our ambitions, we kept on finding Ekurhuleni children in Midrand, in Tshwane, in Cape Town. We asked the president, why are these children here, not in Ekurhuleni? We realized that they had no dream to live for in Ekurhuleni. That's how we realized the power of the airport economy. And when we started that, it ignited. You can see the corridor around Aratunduan, business community and everything. A number of kids of Ekurhuleni. Now, when they grow, they see the dream for which to live is in Agurule. Now, our children, as they go through school, as you say, first year, all of them go via AI. They must be inspired by how are they going to use that in their own country. So this is a huge question here. I thought I must pause here. Secondly, we need universities in South Africa and Africa to consider that the best approach to AI is collaboration. As the Department of Communication and Digital Technologies in the Republic of South Africa, we've adopted an all-inclusive approach, which is at the heart of our shared response to addressing the digital transformation era. For Africa to be competitive in the world, we need that there was a space race, then the arms race, and now there's an AI race. We cannot afford to be left behind that way. You see, in the mercantile era, Britain that prescribed what we do with our raw materials. Sometimes this is conspiracy. Those laws, you can excavate to find them. There's no worse genocide than making sure that a country doesn't manufacture. Because when a country doesn't manufacture, an environment of new technologies is decimated. If you say there must be manufacture, you say there must be no new technology in that country. Because how do you deal with new ideas and solution in that? So that's what Britain did to us. But I don't have amount of money to evaluate what is because I'm content. The onus is upon us to put a race through a coordinated and collaborative approach with venture capital funds that are focused on and dedicated to artificial intelligence. We need the world to assist us in this, but as we take initiative and we take responsibility for our own future. In other words, whether it's Britain, whether it's America, whether it's China, those who come to assist us, the mission must be determined by us. Lastly, we need to realize collaboration between government and private sector in AI research. In November 2022, the Artificial Intelligence Institute of South Africa was formed, and it has since been established. It has since established applied AI hubs with key stakeholders such as academia, private sector, investors, and civil society. There are several South African startups such as Zenowe, which focuses on simplifying AI and machine learning. They possess distinctive algorithms like Amazon.com and Netflix, wherein they determine user behavior and predict potential purchasing behavior. So have startups known as Clever, but not in the normal Clever, right? Clever, CLEVVA, a technology business that specializes in the art and science of AI for people. In Nairobi, Kenya, Strathmore University established the ET Lab Africa Research Center that sought to promote cutting-edge research in AI, among other emerging technology. In Nigeria, the University of Lagos recently opened an AI hub that will focus on deep learning and tools to collect data for AI purposes. In essence, the core economy of the African continent are identified as the ones to largely benefit from AI. Economic sectors such as agriculture, mining, art, etc. are identified efficient, high providing expansions in benefits. Program Director, Artificial Intelligence Institute of South Africa has started to focus on ensuring the key economic sectors are first to leverage AI capabilities. We launched the first AI hub here, UJ, focusing on manufacturing, because of the size of its contribution to GDP, which is now close to 14%, far low than the historic ratio as we know it. We then launched the second AI hub in TUT, focusing mainly on automotive sector because of the vastness of the vehicle production and assembling in South Africa. We're also launching the CUT AI hub focused on agriculture and farming as a notable sector. Before the end of May, we plan to launch the AI hub focused on defense and military capabilities at our military academy, Saldanha, west coast of Western Cape. In total, we would like to capacitate AI Institute of South Africa with at least 11 AI hubs ranging from built environment, just energy transition, media and language, etc. The ITU call for the AI for good approach that still must be adopted by the member states. I therefore encourage all the African countries to work in unison to adopt the recommendation of the AI for good principles, which encourage for a trusted, safe, and inclusive development of AI technology and equitable access. The G2019, which the presidents of Japan put in place the importance of AI within their midst for addressing their economic challenges. These notable prompted His Excellency Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa at the African Union Summit of 2020 to call for a unified African regional AI stance, which will serve as a blueprint to guide the African membership states in developing policies and regulation related to AI as technology tool for good. As a result, South Africa, in collaboration with Smart Africa Alliance and other member states, supported a diverse stakeholder drafted an AI blueprint roadmap, which will be tabled at the AU soon. We hope that with our endeavors to be a global authority, to institutionalize open AI, explicit regulation related to important consideration must be put in place in relation to the development of continental and national AI policies, which are as follows. Data-centric approach linked to the development agenda, people before technology as a center for economic growth, multi-stakeholder approach centered on PPP model, governance and regulatory AI framework, and institutional mechanism located within. As I move towards conclusion, I wanted to we must, as a continent, recognize that increased availability of digitized data in the global economy, unlimited access to computing power, and lower data storage costs are important in driving the growth of AI globally. I am happy to announce that an AI Expert Advisory Council will be appointed, and it will comprise of a group of eminent persons that will guide us towards the implementation and advancement of AI policy and regulation, amongst others, in our country. To this effect, I have appointed a brilliant young man in Professor Vukosi Marivate. I thought Marivate is English. And I was told yesterday is Venda. Marivate. Oh, it's not Marivate. Oh, it's Marivate. Thank you very much. To this, I have appointed a brilliant young man in Professor Vukosi Marivate to head an AI task force together with the department to recommend to me names of appropriate AI experts suitable for appointment to the AI Expert Advisory Council, which I will announce as soon as possible. In conclusion, my expectation is that after today's session, we'll have a clear way forward towards leveraging this cutting-edge technology to resolve some of South Africa's economic and social challenges. I also expect that there will be provincial seminars undertaken to further seek inputs during the public comments process before we finalize the draft national AI policy as a guiding and policy document. One anxiety, Ali, I'm worried about, before we make that move, We must make sure that all the other relevant units in
All right, Mondli Gungubele there, who of course is the Communications and Digital Technologies Minister, speaking at the inaugural National Artificial Intelligence Summit, which is currently being held at the University of Johannesburg here in Auckland Park. He's said a whole host of things. Even he couldn't wait to get to his concluding remarks. His words, not mine. But I think a major take home from what he's mentioned is the announcement he's just made a short while ago about the establishment of an artificial intelligence task force. This team essentially is going to be used to recommend names that are going to form part of the AI Advisory Council. All of this, of course, with the hopes of ensuring that there's a greater integration of artificial intelligence in solving everyday problems here in this country, as well as in many other parts of the continent. South Africa certainly wanting to spearhead that process. We've got a full team here at the SABC News Channel continuing to listen into not only what the minister has to say, but certainly all the other speakers for the day ahead. And we'll certainly get you a sense of what is worth noting throughout the course of today.